Dan Savage is a 53-year-old LGBTQ activist, and he is gay himself. His husband is named Terry Mitchell, and they were married in 2000 and then divorced in 2003 for money problems. They later remarried each other in 2007 and have been married since. His parents are Judy and William Savage. They kicked him out at the age of 18 because he was gay. They are strict Catholics, and he came out to them when he was 17 and a half. They were very rude to him, and they said that he could stay there until he was 18, and as promised, on his 18th birthday, he was kicked out. He went to the University of Illinois, and he started the newspaper article Savage Love in the Seattle Times. He grew up strictly Catholic, and he knew since he was born, he said, that he was gay. Nothing was going to stop him. He founded the It Gets Better project. To get onto the It Gets Better project website, you have to take a pledge. The pledge is to stand up for LGBTQ people and never to bully them. You have to pledge to report it if you see it, and the reason of the website is to tell kids that it gets better. Over 97% of people that are LGBTQ in middle school and high school say they are bullied because of it. And as of December 1st, 627,805 people took the pledge to help. Over 2,000 people benefited from this because when they went onto the website, they stopped themselves from suicide. They all commented or sent in a video submission saying that Dan Savage and the It Gets Better project helped them from suicide. Where, when, and why? Where? Dan Savage was born in Chicago and moved to Seattle at the age of 24. He lived in Chicago from his early years until he was 24. When he moved out, he went to the University of Illinois, and then he moved to Seattle a couple years after graduating. When he was in Seattle, he made the article Savage Love, as stated before, in the Seattle Times. This is why he moved to Seattle, because the Seattle Times gave him an offer and he wanted to live near it. When? He moved out at 18 and moved there when he was 24. Why? He started the It Gets Better project because he wanted to help others like him. He was bullied from middle school to high school and even in college too. He wanted somewhere to go, but he could never find it as a kid. So he promised himself when he got older, he would make a website like this. Money. Dan Savage is a millionaire. He makes $2.2 to $2.7 million per year from being on articles in the Seattle Times, being in TV appearances, and even making his own TV show that ended after one season. He is currently worth $3 to $4 million and lives in a $2 million mansion. His articles in the Seattle Times gives him about $500,000 a year, and his TV appearances and his one season long show gave him the rest of the $2 million per year. His TV appearances were on the Bill Maher Show and the Chris Hayes Show. On the Bill Maher Show, he talked about how he did not like Donald Trump, who he voted for, and why he voted for them instead of Donald Trump. He said the same on Chris Hayes and had arguments with other people. His beliefs are that no one should like Donald Trump. He says that Donald Trump is the enemy of LGBTQ people. He voted for Bernie Sanders, and after Bernie Sanders lost the Democratic election, he then voted for Hillary. The reason he voted for Hillary was because she was the lesser of two evils. He thought that she had also bad plans, but they weren't as bad as Trump's plans. Trump wanted to stop the LGBTQ people from going into the military. He also wanted to take away some of their rights and do lots of bad things for LGBTQ people. So Dan Savage took it upon himself to campaign against him and for Hillary. He is an atheist. He grew up Catholic, but he knew since a young age that he was not Catholic. He went along with it so his parents weren't mad at him, but as an adult, he turned into an atheist. What he does. What he does for a living is the articles in the Seattle newspaper, the TV appearances, his season-long show, and the It Gets Better project. In the It Gets Better project, he helps campaign around the US and even in Canada and Mexico for LGBTQ people. He's been kicked out of several places because that he was using such foul language because there were people in the stands arguing with him. He is very opinionated and he wanted to help LGBTQ people. There was even a fight one time in his audience between an LGBTQ person and a non-believer. In his TV appearances, he's only made 7, 4 of them on the Chris Hayes show and 3 of them in the Bill Maher show. And his article in the Seattle newspaper has been there since 2011. Why he does it? He does the It Gets Better project because he thinks that everyone should have equal rights. He thinks that LGBTQ people should be treated the same way that regular people are that are not LGBTQ. When he was a child, as stated before, he was bullied for this. So, he pledged to himself that he would create a website and a project, and he did. It makes him a small amount of money, but he still does it because it's what he believes in. He does the TV shows to spread the word and spread knowledge about his side of the argument. And he does the articles to help people in love. His article is to help gay or straight people in their love. It is once per week in the newspaper, and he gets sent anonymous stories, and he tries to help the people that send in them. Dan Savage hates Donald Trump. He hates Donald Trump because he thinks he's closed-minded and a terrible person. He thinks he's closed-minded because Donald Trump has not, and probably will not, change his mind about anything, even though society has. Most of society thinks that LGBTQ people are acceptable, yet Donald Trump will not conform. He's also gone as far to say that he is the enemy of the LGBTQ community. This is because of the bills he wants to pass and how they will negatively affect the LGBTQ community. Dan Savage believes that legislature needs to be changed. Over 50% of states in the US allow LGBTQ people to lose their jobs only based upon the fact that they are LGBTQ. Now, you cannot do this for, let's say, African American people or people of different religion because of laws that have been put in place. But the same does not apply for LGBTQ people. He says he needs to get these things in place and has been working nonstop for the past couple years to get these things into legislature. He has called numerous senators and numerous people to help try and get these involved. But he said a major setback was having Donald Trump in office. This is the reason why he wanted Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton to be in office, because they would not reject these bills. Thank you for watching my documentary, and I hope you learned a lot today.